It is Wednesday night. It's August 2nd, 2023. Hard to believe we're in August already. Huge month for AEW as we have All In at Wembley to close the month out on the 27th, then All Out to start September. We finally got a match for All In tonight. The match, as MJF titled it. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about the Elite re-signing with AEW. We'll be talking about the American Nightmare becoming Cody Rhodes documentary and much, much more. Plenty of rabbit holes will be going down, I'm sure, along the way. I'm Tanner Lee, back this week. Thanks to my co-host Paul Zarman and Austin Shepard for filling in for me on short notice last week. Appreciate it. How we doing, fellas?
Hey, it's Wednesday night and we're all here.
That is true.
So, what do you want to talk about?
A whole bunch of stuff. Whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And it looks like we got a comment right away if my mouse wants to work here.
Oh boy.
Majin in the house. We'll be talking about the women's title finding its way back home. That indeed.
Yes, we will.
That
Yes,
indeed.
we will.
New AEW women's champ. 9th time the title has changed hands in the company's short history, which tonight was Dynamite episode 200. Pretty hard to believe.
If I'm trying to say this politically correct, because you know me, I'm politically correct.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, Shep.
The saving grace to that match was the title switch. If the title switch didn't happen, I was not happy with the way the show ended. I thought the show was too good to have a lackluster main event. Then I got to thinking about halfway through, why do they make this match the main event, for one? I could see this match even actually kicking it off if they weren't going to change the title. So I was pretty convinced that they're going to do the switch. And then as the match went on, I'm like, no. And then I got to give them credit. The ending saved this match. The last, I'd say, minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes of the match. Yeah. So it made sense, and it made me not get angry.
Yeah, Paul and I were actually texting kind of about that. We didn't want to include you because we didn't know how far behind you were and we didn't want to spoil anything. I said, one or two things is going to happen with this match being main event. We're getting a title change or we're getting a big return from somebody. So then we start guessing who the return could be. And
well, there's only two people the return could have been. It could have been Thunder or Jade.
Yeah, which Thunder's pretty much, I think, going to be, what do they call him now? Collider? Is that what Punk's terming the collision guys?
And then I saw Jade made a comment. She doesn't know if she ever wants to come back.
I know. I got to think that's a little
BS.
fluff. But and speaking of the women, I'm sure we'll get into this later, but I feel bad for Jamie Hayter. I mean, I think everything was in line for her to come back at All In her home country, but it sounds like her injury's a lot worse than previously thought, according to Fightful Select's SRS, Sean Ross Sapp, and she might not be back till 2024.
Wow.
So, yeah, sucks for her, but we'll get into all of that and more. But Paul, lead us off with a question.
Hey, Shep, what are we drinking?
Well, we got a little bit of a smorgasbord tonight just because I was running late. So my normal go-to, right? I only had like half of it down. There's still half of it in there, right? So I'm thinking, man, I know how you guys like to ramble and go down rabbit holes. And this podcast longer than it should go, right? So I still got a half a toddy here, the old classic kettle, and then I went out because I got some I got a fresh batch of Kalen and Kalen pickles since somebody's trying to rob us of doing a Kalen review, which I did it a long time ago. No names thrown out there because I don't like that. I thought that guy looked weird. So I went ahead and grabbed one of the original goats. A high noon pineapple. So I got one of those. And then if I go through that, I go through this, I got a backup of the original and a little bit, as Jericho would say, the bubbly. So, like I said, I got a little bit of a smorgasbord tonight. I got 3 drinks to get me through tonight. If for some reason my camera goes out, I'm going to pull a TK like you did on Ariel Helwani and go use the little boys' room because that guy drank 14 pots of coffee. I'm gonna have a couple toddies. Same thing, right?
Majin says sounds like Shep's getting drunk tonight.
Well, I tell you, old Majin, I just got back from Tanner's homeland, and that place. Don't take this wrong way. That place sucks. The elevation bullshit sucks. Made me sicker than a dog.
It can do that to you. It can definitely do that to you.
And I tell you what, you could tell me that there's $1 million in Honolulu, Hawaii, but you have to fly through Denver Airport, and I would say pass. That airport sucks. Worst airport in the world. Let alone if you're by yourself, but try flying with 2 kids under the age of 3 with car seats, and that airport sucks. At 4 a.m. in the morning on Monday morning, there was 25. I was the 2500th person in security at 4 a.m.
Yeah, their security's awful.
Now, I will give them credit. We didn't have a long standing. Like if I would give them a little bit of a titch. That's you know what titch is, Paul? Just a little bit. Okay. We didn't stand still a lot, but I bet you I was over a half. When I got in the line at security, I had a half mile to go. It went out of security around baggage claim down some random hallway that I'm pretty sure we weren't supposed to be down. So.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Again, haven't had a lot of adult beverages since Denver, so maybe I'll have a couple tonight.
Well, that's fitting because I'm drinking a little Colorado Zone tonight.
Yeah,
mountains are blue. Mountains are blue.
I had a couple out there, and just because they don't have, we went to a rodeo. Shep went to a rodeo, believe it or not. Yeah,
where was that at?
Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Oh, okay,
up in the mountains. That's what. So Denver's like what, like 6,500, 7,000 feet.
5,280.
Okay, whatever.
He didn't even have to look that up.
Exactly a mile high.
So we went up into the mountains to 12,000 feet and then back down to Steamboat Springs, which is like 7,500 or 7,065. I don't know. I needed that, Paul. I needed more Gatorade. I drank a lot of Gatorade and it still didn't help.
Fruit punch.
Well, I finally tagged Kettle last week, and so I'm going to keep tagging him. They'll probably end up blocking us eventually, but
that's okay. Kettle, if you block me, I'll switch to Tito's.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Shots fired there, Kettle.
Kettle, if you block me, I'll switch to Tito's on the pod.
On the pod.
I've been a loyal customer for a long time. Good 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
It keeps increasing. You're like MJF with the attendance numbers. It's going to be
a 99,000 in attendance.
Oh, that guy. I'm anxious to talk about him later. But we opened the show tonight with Chris Jericho and Konosuke Takeshita against Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. So Jericho opening up in his where he lives in Tampa, Florida, the Yuengling Center. Hot crowd tonight. I thought Tampa represented well tonight.
That was a very good crowd. Very good crowd.
I wasn't going to guess that this crowd or this match was going to open things up, but here we are.
Neither would I have, but hey.
Of course, a lot of back and forth action. Of course, Dirty Don Callis gets involved, slides, or I thought he was going to slide Jericho the bat, but actually hits Garcia with the bat himself. And Jericho's looking at him like, "What did you do? What did you do?" But then he eventually hooks the leg for the 1, 2, 3. And yeah, I mean, the announcers are playing it up. Jericho's got a lot to think about. Big moment in Jericho's career. What do you guys think about the opener?
Censorship was a little behind on the wording, but Ship's favorite word got out there. But hey,
I mean, I thought Jericho sold it perfectly. He looked at Don and said, "What the?" I'll catch myself.
Yep.
And we're too early to have an E in there. But
if
I thought it was well played because Jericho genuinely looked shocked.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could tell he was genuinely upset for a moment, like, I don't want this to go out this way. And then Jericho does Jericho and makes the pin.
Yep. Oh yeah, a win's a win in Jericho's book.
I still think Don Callis, all of a sudden tonight, he reminds me of Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because he's got, I swear the scar, I swear before he goes out, makeup puts a little coloring there on that scar just to emphasize it, to make it,
Oh yeah.
make it a little bit more noticeable. Make it pop.
I've got a slice on my hand there, and I mean, I've got to get my hand all the way up to the camera for you
Yeah.
to even see the scar.
Yeah. I got 9 stitches in my forehead, and you can't see it unless I get clear up to the webcam.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, when I was in first grade, I got hit by a golf club right in the head. 9 stitches.
You had 9 stitches right now.
No.
I want
Had
that.
9 stitches, have a scar. Scar, that's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah. Words are hard.
That's where he was last Wednesday,
Okay.
getting stapled up.
Thankfully,
From his
no,
incident in
but
first grade.
Obviously, he mouthed off at the wrong time.
Yes.
I'm learning.
Oh, you got a lot to learn, man.
Oh yeah.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's a big rabbit hole.
We'll
That's
just do
a
a
bigger
whole
rabbit hole.
podcast called Marriage Advice for Tanner Lee.
You know what? I could start a marriage therapist podcast with my experiences.
That's like a nice side hustle.
You know what? I bet you them therapists charge like $1.25 an hour. I'd do it for like $25 an hour and a cocktail. So
What a deal.
yeah.
What a deal.
We'll work something out, Shep. We'll barter something out for you.
Oh yeah. I'm available. I got nothing but time.
So
Until it gets busy.
Jericho and Keshka get the win. Then we see TK shown backstage. Another weird pre-tape, which he's not even looking at the camera. He's reading about video clips and AEW's history since tonight's Dynamite 200. And then we see a montage of clips. But the interesting thing,
First wrestler in the montage.
first wrestler you see, Cody and Brandy Rhodes.
Yep.
And then he saw a lot of Cody early on, and it was in chronological order, kind of. But so he fades away as it goes on. But I thought kudos to AEW. They don't run away from their past. Don't run away from one of their founding fathers, who's now one of the biggest superstars in WWE. They don't hide that.
They've got no reason to.
I think with the documentary, which obviously we'll get into later, one of the few projects that WWE has done that has included in another company, I think it just helps AEW. It really does. If there was that one professional wrestling fan that literally just watched WWE, knew Cody before, could care less what Cody did for that little stint. When I say little stint, 5 years? Was it 5 years?
2016 to early 2022.
Okay, so 5-6 years. If they could care less, and then now they're a Cody fan coming back, I think they need to know.
Oh yeah.
So good for WWE to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that just takes that random WWE fan and going, wait a minute. There was some cool stuff going on TBS, TNT. It does nothing but help AEW. It has, even though Triple H made his comment, which we'll get into later, it does nothing but help AEW.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, we're definitely getting in Tripp's comment later, for sure. We then see Jericho backstage, and Matt Menard, Daddy Magic, comes up to him before Renee can really talk to Jericho and says, next week, mandatory JAS meeting. And Jericho then walks away.
Hopefully it's led by Daddy Magic.
Yep. It's
Shep's nips will be hard.
I've seen the dirt sheets throughout a potential match at All In for Jericho, and it would be really interesting if they're right.
I've seen a couple matches thrown around on the internet here the last couple weeks that I really hope aren't true.
Is one
Yeah,
of them
this
Hager?
One of
no, this
them's
one's
Oh,
this match that I'm referring to would make Tanner right, and he'd be a solo host on KOP if that was the point.
oh, I didn't see that one.
I
Uh,
haven't seen that one.
yeah, I saw rumored, and again, I'm sure this is all fan made, but it was Cassidy taking on Goldberg.
Oh,
Hmm,
Yeah,
I don't see that happening, but the one I
yeah.
saw, Jericho taking on arguably the best wrestler in the world, which I mean, Jericho usually can ramp it up when he has really good talent like that, but I don't know. I don't know if he could hang with this guy right now.
well, that doesn't narrow it down too much there, Tanner.
Not non AEW guy. He's wrestled in AEW multiple times, but he's not all elite.
That still doesn't narrow it down a whole lot.
Tanahashi?
No, but right company.
Oh, Osprey?
Yep.
Oh no.
Well, Callis, remember Callis kind of got involved with Osprey and Omega.
Oh man.
Yeah. I
Now,
don't know.
now I could get behind Takeshita and Osprey,
Yes.
but I think, well, I don't know. I think we get the rubber match, don't we?
That's what I'm hoping for, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still shocked that we're in the month of August. We have one match so far for the
But
card.
I sent you guys this early in the week, and I think it was Bully Ray.
It was Bully. Yep.
Tweeted it out and said, "Look, you got 76,000 tickets sold out of what 79 possible, right?"
Yeah, I think 79 or 80. I think.
Okay. He goes, "Damn near a sellout. I would not announce a match. Period. A, you're gonna have asses in the seats, and B, you got guys like us in the States going, I gotta watch to see what the hell's gonna happen, so I'm buying the $50 pay-per-view."
Yep.
What a absolute mind, you know what I'm gonna want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here it is, August 2nd. If we only get one match and hints of matches up to it, TK's a legend. My opinion. Not gonna happen.
It would be something we've never seen done before. That's for sure.
But if anybody's gonna do it, it's TK.
You're right. He is a visionary, kind of like old Paul Heyman was back in the day for ECW, which Tony's a big ECW fanboy, which we saw in this next segment with Jack Perry supposed to have a face-to-face confrontation with Jerry Lynn. Jack Perry does come out. I will say Jack's really getting into the heel role. He's getting more heat every week, feeling more comfortable as a heel. I'm liking it. I'm digging it. Wonder what Majin thinks. I know if he's still tuning in, because I know he has some interesting opinions about Jack Perry. What I like, Jack Perry steals the microphone away from Shivani, and Shivani's like still trying to act like he's going to talk. So Jerry Lynn comes out. He said he doesn't run the show. He's too old. Doctors wouldn't clear him to come to the ring. But he called a good friend who wrestled in ECW, still wrestles today, Rob Van Dam. Makes his AEW debut. Comes out to the Panera theme. Place goes nuts. RVD confronts Jack. Jack rolls out of the ring. Jack tries to sneak back in and hit RVD with the chair, but RVD avoids it. And then tries to kick Perry, but Perry escapes. Next week, RVD, Jack Perry for the FTW Championship. I thought they would maybe put this at All In. But
as big as an ECW fan as I am, or I was, I should say, and I love those RVD Jerry Lynn matches back in the day. Those guys beat the living tar out of each other. And RVD in his probably mid to early 50s, probably, I'm guessing.
looking it up.
52.
Oh, good. There you go.
52.
He hasn't wrestled nationally in the States since 2019 Impact. He wrestled his last match, I think, was with Noah last year.
He looked okay.
He's gained a little
He
weight.
looked something.
Yeah, he's gained a little weight, lost a little muscle. I mean, he still did that spinning heel kick.
Yeah,
Like what? Okay. Can he keep up though with Jack? I mean, Jack's 26 years old or whatever the hell we talked about last time. To me, I classify this as one of those matches I hate when I have a Rey Mysterio versus a Mark Henry, a Commander versus a Bill. I ain't gonna say the big Bill. One of those small versus big matches. This is almost kind of like the same thing when you have a guy that is agile and as quick as Jack, and then RVD. Again, we haven't seen what he can do. If he proves me wrong at 52 years old, he proved me wrong. But I don't see this match going more than 8 to 10 minutes.
I just hope he shows up sober next week.
No way.
Because you could definitely tell in that backstage interview he was not
sober.
Yes.
Well,
not stoned out of his mind.
Oh, okay,
yeah. I know.
He's not coming down to the ring, aka Jeff Hardy, drunk.
Right. He RVD is such a veteran when it comes to marijuana. He'll be all right.
What was that? If you guys remember, and this goes back a while, you remember when him and Sabu were on the Raw roster, and they got pulled over going from town to town and got busted pot.
Yep.
And it was a big deal. And this was like 05, 06 maybe?
06 because he lost his WWE championship. He was the champ at the time.
Okay,
and he got suspended and he never got it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a real big deal. It was in Ohio. Yep.
He retires belts, guys. Remember that.
He
makes them big and then retires them.
So we're obviously not going to get RVD and Jack in Wembley. Where's this going, guys? I mean, do you see Hook coming back and fighting him at All In, or are we going to get some other ECW legend or a combination? I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
You look at the ECW legends that are still performing today in small shows. You got Dreamer that does. He'll go to any house show or any gymnasium show that's got 10 people. Bless his heart.
Ultimate babyface of ECW.
Obviously, our RVD. Sandman still shows up at stuff. Definitely not in the shape to perform at the level that we need with Jack Perry. I'm drawing a blank.
Al Snow.
Shane Douglas doesn't do much. He does signings and stuff anymore. You get out of those guys.
I know.
And you're done. You got Bully Ray, but
he's not coming over.
He's Bully Ray. He's not Bubba Dudley.
Mm-hmm.
He's Bully Ray.
Is it Raven with NWA right now?
Raven's done some stuff. But
or MLW, one of those two. I think it's
MLW.
MLW.
I don't think Raven can do any better.
They're all old.
I mean, unfortunately, 20 years ago, they were in their prime.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe we get Hook and Taz gets involved. Maybe.
I mean, there's no way Taz can have a match.
I wouldn't think so.
No.
I think he had worse neck surgery than Jerry Lynn, didn't he?
I think so. I mean,
I remember he broke his neck.
I can't even remember Taz's last. I mean, it was the early 2000s last time I think we saw him.
Yeah, I mean, he left WWE and went right to Impact for commentary, if I believe.
Right.
He did some commentary for WWE, but
then Impact,
then Impact. But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I love the ECW references because TK's a fan, and I love all that. But unfortunately, this time of the this day and age, I should say, it's kind of sailed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We then got a match that exceeded my expectations tonight. Penta, Moxley, Trent, anything goes match. I mean, it was announced last week at the close of the show. I'm thinking, okay, that's weird. It's kind of just random. But this was fun. This was a lot of fun, I thought. We had trash can spots, tons of table spots.
I got one beef. I gotta be.
thumbtack spots. But the guy who, in my opinion, was the least likely to come out victorious came out victorious. Trent kind of stole a win, but he stole a win.
Hold on, I unplugged my computer. I got one beef with this, and it's not a bad beef. If anybody noticed, right when Mox dropped the thumbtacks, they zoomed in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did anybody notice anything odd?
He was not bleeding.
Well, okay, yeah, you couldn't see his forehead, but yeah, he was bleeding. Mox has made a good amount of money over the last, let's just say, 4 years with AEW.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can agree with me, right?
Yes.
He always wears those Under Armour boots, like high top Under Armour combat boots, right?
Mm-hmm.
The boots he was wearing tonight are coming apart. This almost pisses me off as much as Rick Knox's pants.
Get the dude some pants.
Get you a new pair of shoes, man. They're coming apart at the seams. I know you wear them every day. And he talks about he wears them to work out in. Okay, great. You found a pair of shoes you love. I'm not going to judge you on that, right? I'm the same way. If I find something I like for a big guy, fat guy like me, I'm going to buy every one in every color. I can wear it every day. But Mox, you make a lot more money than I do. Get you a new pair of damn Under Armour boots. I almost want to buy a pair of them. They're probably $80, $90. And I want to ship them to Cincinnati and say, put the damn things on.
Yeah, for some low grade ones, but for some high quality ones, you're a couple hundred.
Still, Paul, the guy makes 6 figures, if not 7 figures.
Yeah, I know.
That was my rant.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
A fired up Shep and a rant, but it wasn't like real negative. I like it.
No, and I like Mox.
Yeah.
Get the dude some
dumb stuff.
Shoes.
I like Mox, but they're literally coming apart at the seams right where the toe bends. Get you a new pair of shoes, Mox.
I was trying to find something because today, and I was trying to find the exact year, and I thought it was funny that, of course, we get a Mox match. Barbed wire was patented today.
Oh, of course.
I was trying to look up what year it was, but I can't find it now.
Love it. After the match, we saw Mox lock in a sleeper hold, but outside the ring, Claudio and Wheeler Yuta were brawling with Chucky T and Orange Cassidy. Despite the jump start, Best Friends got the better than the BCC in the end. And Chuck Taylor says, Rampage Friday night parking lot brawl. Pretty big time match for Rampage.
Yeah, boy.
I liked the match. I liked it even more that Beretta went over because it was a shock to everybody.
Yeah, good for him too.
I like Beretta a lot. He's got the look. He's got the athleticism. He can work. The guy that just ruins it for me is the Kentucky gentleman.
I'm right there with you. I don't
want to pick on him because his physique's not there. He's got the red face and the cheeks, and it looks like he has some type of spa facial every day, chemical peel on his face, and I'm not picking on him. He might have a medical condition, and you guys can make fun of me about it, but he just doesn't look like a professional wrestler where Trent does.
And I'm not a professional wrestler. I can't go in the ring. I would blow up in 20 seconds, so I'm not trying to rip him. But compared to Trent and Orange, he's the weak link as far as in-ring work.
And that's crazy to think because when the Best Friends made their debut in AEW, you and we were doing this podcast at that time. We're talking that Orange would be the weak link of the group.
I know.
How 4 years have turned this around.
I didn't like Orange. When you guys invited me to join the podcast, I'm pretty sure I was pretty negative against Orange.
It took a while.
Yep.
It took a while for him. This All Atlantic, or what's it called now? Not All Atlantic.
International.
All International title run for me to really get on board with him. And, there was, I don't know how many Dynamites or how many Rampages in a row where he led the show off with a banger of a match.
Yeah, he's TK's go-to guy.
To the point that it seems weird when Orange Cassidy doesn't open the show now.
You know what though? I could take a break from that and then have him come back. That's okay.
Yep. The AEW's got such a deep roster; they can start it with a majority of guys. We saw a world champ come out in MJF, big pop from the crowd.
Hey, cheers, kosher deal this week.
Perfect time with Kalen Pickles there. Chef's taking a crunch. MJF's so good, man. He's so damn good. The whole crowd's cheering for him, and he pretty much and I like when he does this. He goes back, he's telling a real life story. I'm assuming it's a real life story that he went through of getting harassed for being Jewish. Says he still wakes up in a cold sweat about getting told pick it up, Jew boy, pick it up when these kids were bullying him and abusing him, and he blacks out a lot of it, but he still remembers when that kid threw quarters at him. And he said, so he decided that if he wanted to survive in this life, he had to stab people in the back because they could stab him. However, he's starting to realize that that's not the way to live. While he protected himself, he became one of them, became a scumbag. He said it's hard to be vulnerable and open up, and he knew it would kill him if he opened himself up and was rejected by the fans. However, he's not scared anymore. That's because of all the fans he met. He is still a scumbag, but he's ready to be the fan scumbag, which they'd start chanting, "You're a scumbag." He said the person who taught him that he can trust and be vulnerable, deserves a friend, is Adam Cole. Adam Cole comes out, which I thought was interesting. Didn't come out with his music, just came out. And he admits MJF impresses him every day. It's not just because he's one of the best in the world, but because he's the man he's becoming. Cole admits he used to be a jerk because he was scared as well. And he says Max is becoming the man he was meant to be. So he's incredibly proud of MJF, and so are the fans. He says MJF says he called Cole out because he made him a promise that win or lose against FTR, he'd get a shot Triple B. And then he said he wasn't going to give Cole that match, and everybody's confused, starting to boo. He said because he doesn't deserve just any match, he deserves the match in front of the most historic crowd and main event, Wembley, all in. Cole signs the contract, and then they hug it out. And backstage, we see Roderick Strong freaking out about the entire situation, slamming stuff on the ground, yelling. Then we see the Kingdom come and point out that Adam Cole forgot about his other friends and walks away.
Wouldn't be the first time Cole's forgotten about friends.
I didn't care for that part of the segment. I thought it was a little bit much. You got Roderick Strong for the last 3 weeks with a neck brace. Yeah. Right? 3-4 weeks.
Yes, Joe attacked him in a collision about a month back.
Yeah. But since then, he's been all over the independents having some really good matches. And I know that doesn't right. count on television. Kayfabe, whatever.
Yeah, just like QT he tears it up down in Mexico, but then he's back to.
But anyways, I love the point where he's talking about MJF. Let's go back to that. He talks about his real life experiences, and he basically just says, "Look, I'm gonna be a scumbag. I'm a heel, right? I'm a heel. I'm gonna do this, but I'm your heel." And he gets the pop. So right now, MJF can do no wrong.
Right.
When he did you don't deserve a match, I really thought we were going to get a best out of 3. Like, you deserve more than one match. Like, if we're going to do this, you're going to have to beat me twice, or I'm going to have to beat you twice. It's kind of what I thought. And then we got the main event at Wembley, so it worked.
Now, it was interesting. At first, I thought it was the main event, but then I went back on Twitter, and AEW and TK just say world title. They didn't say main event.
I thought he said main event, didn't he?
Did.
Yeah, the commentators did, though. You're right.
Commentator. So, MJF never said main event?
He said the match.
The match.
So, I mean, it probably will be the main event. You know, it is one of the best stories right now in professional wrestling. It's your world title match for the men's. It probably should be the main event, but
there's only one other match that could be main event.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's going to happen. That's FTR and Punk versus the Elite.
Yep.
But I think in Wembley, in his home country, you're going to get Ospreay and Omega, and you have a chance the following following week at All Out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
In Chicago, I think that's when you're going to get FTR and Punk versus the Elite.
You still think we're going to get that match in 2023?
Yep. And the reason why is what Omega said in the ring tonight. I'm going to show up on Dynamite, Rampage, ROH. And even Collision.
Which got some boos out of the crowd, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But speaking of the Elite, good news for all AEW fans today. The Elite, Adam Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Matt, and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, all re-signed to All Elite Wrestling for multi-year deals. It's not confirmed what the deal, how long the deals are, how expensive the deals are, but they're thought to be 3 to 4 year contracts and pretty hefty price tags on all of them.
So. Well, hey, look, the Jackson boys bought all that ground in Palm Springs. They got to pay for it, multi-million-dollar mansions.
Yep.
So, hey, since the Wendy's and Chili's deal fell through, way to step up, TK.
Yep. TK had to provide the dough there to help them out.
And if you're going to talk about contracts, let's not overlook Dark Order signed a multi-year contract as well.
They did. They didn't get a press release or anything, but
nope.
they signed 3-year contracts. And, yeah, I mean, they've been an AEW staple as well, just kind of soured in my mind. But
I still think we're going to be stuck with the Dark Order until -1 turns 18.
You're probably right.
I think Dark Order could be very, very valuable in ROH. But
I do too. I
agree.
Oh, I did not know this. Majin said Kip Sabian re-signed too. I missed that.
Oh, hey.
Okay.
I was a little shocked at that one because I figured he'd won out pretty quick.
It's interesting because a lot of the original AEW deals are coming up. So we're going to see people either resign or leave. Or
you mean we're not going to see Luther anymore?
He'll probably backstage role. Which that was mentioned in the press release.
To go?
In his
oh my gosh,
200 losses.
We are not going to see Fuego, though.
No Fuego. He's on the independents.
Poor Fuego.
But it was in the press release today that Kenny, Matt, and Nick are still going to be running targets as they are still EVPs of the company.
I can't even. Actually, you know what? After the last 3 months, I don't know if you want to manage a target.
That's true. It's true. Majin said, I'm enjoying Dark Order and ROH now. They're feud with, I can't remember the other team that Grayson is part of. What is that team?
It's with the Dreads dude.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, what? I used to watch it.
I know.
The Enlightenment or something like that.
Nah, it used to be the Dreads dude and Matt Taven.
The Righteous.
Yeah. Okay.
I had to look it up. Thank you, Internet.
Because I saw a meme of the Righteous and Dark Order together, and they were the Righteous Order.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a fan-made thing, but still.
Well, speaking of the Elite, they were up next on tonight's program where they took on Double J, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh.
Oh God, I don't know who I hate more, Satnam Singh or Big Bill. At least Big Bill can work in the ring. Did you see the way that dude hit the ropes?
Yeah, that's a big
boy.
Look,
he's like 10 feet tall, and you can't teach
big
that.
Boy.
Just leave him alone.
Just move on.
I did laugh. The Elite had some comedic bits in the match tonight where Matt comes up to Satnam's like stomach and he wants no part of him, so he goes to tag Nick or Kenny and they walk away from the ring. That was pretty good.
I enjoyed that. And then the sneaky tag in from Matt to Nick.
Yep, sneaky tag in. In the end, there was no doubt the Elite were going to get the win, but they had some help as Karen Jarrett tried to get involved, but Brandon Cutler sprayed her in the face, and then Sanjay ended up punching Cutler, but then the Hardys, that was kind of random, wasn't it, a little bit? Matt and Nick come down, Matt and Jeff, too many Matts. Matt and Jeff come down, which first time we've seen Jeff Hardy in a while. Besides Rampage, that Battle Royal, I guess we just got. But he has Twist of Fate on Sanjay. Then Omega, the guitar is still in the ring, and Omega hits a V trigger on Lethal, then the One Winged Angel, and then also Adam Page appears to hit a buckshot lariat before Omega hit the One Winged Angel on Lethal, and the Elite get the win. Then we had Kenny playing the guitar a little bit. Then I think Nick took the guitar and was strumming along. And Adam Page takes the mic, says they've all re-signed with All Elite Wrestling. They're happy to be here, and here's to the next 200 episodes. Omega said whether it be Dynamite, Rampage, ROH, or even Collision, you'll see more of them. Crowd cheers. They're sent off for the night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you shocked that Lethal took the pin?
No.
I thought Satnam would.
I thought Satnam or Jared. I think Lethal is a great, great performer just buried in this faction that Lethal could be in the easy TNT scene, if not one of those upper mid-carders that could tease for the world championship because the guy can just work his tail off and is super talented.
And, I was thinking of this during that match. Between Double J and Lethal, you've got probably close to 60 years of experience in the ring. I mean, Lethal's been doing this since 2001. So there you've got 20 plus years. And Jared probably at least
since
late
the
30s, 40s mark.
Is he late 80s, early 90s?
Late 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 60 years of experience almost between just those two individuals.
And I think we've seen a resurgence from Jeff.
Ain't he great?
He isn't like for an elderly guy on his way out.
Slap nuts.
He's doing really, really well. And yes. I even liked when he was on the Independence before AEW, that last outlaw gimmick he did. He showed up in GCW a couple times. Really, really enjoyed that of him. He can still move. He's still agile at his age. Not a problem with him. I just thought he or Satnam should have taken the pin tonight, which I guess I don't know how. You can barely knock the guy down, so I don't know how you can get him to take a pin. So it had to be Jeff to take the pin. But, yeah, I just think we can do way more with Lethal right now. We really could, whether it's on AEW or even throw him in ROH.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's proven in ROH. So
do we want the Black Machismo to come back?
I think it's a great gimmick. Really
yeah.
I think it's a great gimmick, and I can watch it over and over and over again.
Woo off.
The woo off with him and Flair in Impact.
Flair was so pissed off.
That is a $1 million segment.
Oh, a nature boy.
And I remember back in the being the Elite segments where he would have the moments of being Black Machismo and didn't understand what's going on. I love those segments.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was he struck gold with that because his career was struggling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
In TNA, I mean, you always saw the promise, but he just couldn't find his niche, and then he found that, and that took him to the next level for sure. For sure. We then got one of my favorite things of the night: a great video package showing of AR Fox and Swerve Strickland showing up at the Buddy Wayne Academy, where Nick Wayne trains at his house, and they jump him as he and everybody's working with, and leave him a bloody mess, and then end up calling Darby. I thought this was really, really good. This is a good story they're telling.
Yes,
I wouldn't call it a bloody mess. I would call it a pool of blood.
Yeah.
A bloody mess is what Mox does on a Wednesday morning.
That's true.
And they hit him with a picture frame, a glass picture frame. Now, whether it was a cut the hard way or he gigged himself, right?
Probably a little sugar glass and gigged himself would be my guess, but
if he did,
he caught a gusher.
He got him good.
Yeah.
Because at first it was just normal, and then as they kept going back, and even AR Fox kind of looked back as Swerve started to talk, and he kind of looked and he was like, oh, like it was shocking. And then the last picture, there was a pool of blood that he was laying in.
No.
Oh man, yeah.
But they just ramped this rivalry up to personal. It's good stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. And AR Fox, I can get on board with him being in Swerve's stable.
But hey, to quote you on Twitter, weren't we told that AEW can't tell stories?
That's what the internet tells me.
They have their moments. They struggle some, and then they have their moments. This one,
They do.
They have a good one here. And the reason they have a good one is because all four guys in this storyline can work.
Yeah, it can work.
You know what? I'd love to see it. We've seen them. AR Fox versus Darby, and AR Fox versus Nick, Nick versus Swerve, and vice versa. Like, all four of these guys can put on entertaining matches, and there's guys that have been paired with Swerve before that can't even wrestle. Yeah. So,
very true. Very true.
Just my 2 cents.
We then got some ROH titles defended as ROH World Tag titles were on the line with Aussie Open versus Commander and Del Vikingo. I always screw up his name, who might as well be all elite at this point. He shows up very often, but he hardly ever gets a W. And tonight he took another L as Aussie Open were successful in defending the ROH tag titles. Pretty good match, though. A lot of action going on. I mean, we saw some crazy moves. We saw a double 450 splash to Davis, but Fletcher broke it up. Then we saw Vikingo get launched to the barricade toward the end of the match, but Commander missed his next arrow attempt, and then Aussie Open squashed him with a double clothesline, the most famous move in wrestling right now. Then nailed another double team move, slamming his face first into the mat for the win. I don't have a whole lot.
It was an okay match. And you make that comment, Tanner, that stands out, that Vikingo, we don't see him take the W a lot. But if we go 2 weeks ago down in Mexico, CMLL Triple Mania, he went over clean on Kenny Omega.
Right.
Clean.
Yep.
They don't mention that.
Nope.
Now, I don't know why. Because if Kenny Omega would have got beat over in New Japan, I feel like we would have still mentioned it on AEW.
Right.
Or vice versa. If he would have won, even if he won down in Mexico. And I don't know if it's the relay. I know there's a bad relate. What's the bad relationship? There's no relationship with CMLL and New Japan, right?
Correct.
That's the negative one.
Right. Triple A's fine.
And was it CMLL that they were in that match?
Triple A.
It's Triple A, but we didn't recognize it. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
So that's kind of like, I feel like with the whole Tony Khan being Forbidden Door, like I think you have to recognize that. Like, oh man, he went over Kenny Omega clean last week down in Tijuana or wherever the hell it was.
Do you think he thinks it makes his guys look weak if they take L's, if they mention it?
Hey, he took an L on foreign soil with the crowd against him and the hometown hero. You can play it up.
Right.
It's just old school storytelling.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yep. You're not wrong. Not wrong. We then got a preview for Rampage they did during the main event. I believe I didn't really see too much of those matches, but Collision, they're going against SummerSlam on Saturday, so they're stacking up with a lot of title matches. You got CM Punk and the real world title, as he's proclaiming it is, with the X through the E on the AEW against Ricky Starks. We have World Tag Team title match, FTR versus Big Bill and Brian Cage. And then we have the TBS Championship, Mercedes Martinez against Chris Statlander. Then next week, the FTW Championship on Dynamite, Jack Perry, RVD. A lot of championship matches coming up.
All right, I'm going to say it. Get rid of this championship that Punk has. Either put it back with MJF, have them go one-on-one, or just drop it, because now we're getting into that one thing we really didn't want, that true separation of the two shows, that brand split, because now we have a champion on both shows.
I think we get a unification match at All Out in Chicago.
I hope so.
That's my prediction.
I hope so. Adam Cole, CM Punk, yeah, that'll draw some good tickets.
Oh, you're already showing your cards for your all-in predictions.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm just swerving you. You don't know.
But I hope that's where we're getting a unification match eventually, because I don't want to see different titles on different brands. I'm okay if, like right now we're seeing the tag titles and the trio titles really just on Collision. That's fine with me. I just don't want to settle on each show.
No.
Dumb.
Yeah, but I don't know. CM Punk's done some interesting stuff. And what I mean by interesting, since he's returned, I didn't really see his character doing this stuff. I don't know. I thought he'd be in hotter angles, I guess. But I mean, Collision's doing well in the ratings, so we'll see. We'll see how he and Ricky do Saturday night.
Is as much as Collisions is a good show, we've had 200 episodes of Dynamite, and I feel like the diehard AEW fans, which I would consider the three of us there,
yes,
tune in every Wednesday night.
Yep.
Now, our demo age group,
18 to 49,
okay, which is a big group.
It's a big group,
and it doesn't matter. I guess I could relate with a lot of 18-year-olds, and I guess I could relate with a lot of 49-year-olds, and I'm whatever. There's a lot of times I'm not at home,
right?
Or I got stuff going on at 8:00 on a Saturday night, and it
Right.
gets DVR'd,
Yep.
or it doesn't get DVR'd because I'm busy and I forget about it.
Yeah.
So to me, Dynamite is still the anchor show.
Yep.
As much as I love FTR, you guys know that. As much as I enjoy CM Punk, to me, it's still Dynamite is the anchor show. It is not going to overtake Collision because of the time slot,
right?
Or the day in the time slot, I should say.
Yeah, I do like how both shows have different feels to them.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. I mean, a lot of times it's taped right after Dynamite, or a little before, a little after, however they want to split it up anymore. But yet it still has a completely different feel.
Collisions are live, Paul.
Yeah, you're talking about Rampage.
You're talking about Rampage.
I thought there were some of them that were taped. I thought
one's been taped so far, and it was taped on a Thursday because they don't want to have Punk and the Bucks and Kenny really in the same building unless they have to. So.
Now I will give Rampage a little bit of credit, because even though they tape it and we can get the spoilers the next day, and sometimes they're live.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while we get a live one, but it's at 10:00.
Right.
Okay. On a Friday night, 18 to 49-year-olds, if they go out, have dinner with a girlfriend, a spouse, a friend, or whatever, have a couple drinks, they come home because they have to work on Saturday or they got plans on Saturday, more than likely they're in front of a television by 10:00 at night.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm a wrestling fan. There's fresh wrestling on at 10:00 at night. I'm going to watch it.
Right.
It's a better time gig.
It is.
I know it gets messed up with the NHL playoffs. And old damn Marty McSwirly winning Stanley Cups screws up our Rampage. But I watch Rampage way more than I watch Collision.
I will say Collision's more. They're both kind of DVR programs for me, but Collision I will make sure I try to watch on Sunday. Where Rampage I will miss more times than not. But that's just me.
Yeah. I can agree. But I don't know. See, my big problem right now is with the way Collision's going. Yes, it's got its separate show. It feels great. But the Punk that we have right now I feel, is the Punk we got in WWE after he walked out with the champion and came back to challenge Cena.
Yep.
It's the exact same feel I'm getting every time I see him on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to see that again.
I'm all right with it if you give me heel Punk versus babyface MJF. Something we haven't seen. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Could you imagine the roles reversed there and in the mic work leading up to it?
I think that'd be fun.
It would be fun.
Oh, that'd be $1 million.
I'm just enjoying the crowd liking MJF right now. I think he's gonna break all of our hearts, but I'm hoping I'm wrong, and maybe Adam Cole's the one that breaks everybody's hearts.
No, I think you're right. I love that he is just playing up the crowd. If he plays up the crowd the next month and then breaks their heart, wins dirty, does something, that's perfect MJF.
Yeah.
That's $1 million MJF. That's the bidding war of 2024 MJF. And he just plays that up. Now, I don't think there is a bidding war, but I think he already resigned.
I do too.
That's between him and TK, and they, maybe he signed a non-disclosure thing saying if this gets out, you're toast, bud. But
Majim's saying the way they're telling the story, Adam has to be the one to turn. Roddy Strong's got to do something. He's got to do something. He's too involved. They're showing him too often. He's going one way or the other here.
He'll get involved in a match All In and probably cost Adam the championship. And I
don't know if I like a better, and I wouldn't even consider him a face right now. I don't consider MJF a face. But going down the road, I don't know if I want him a face or a heel. He's too good at. I wouldn't say he's too good at both. We haven't seen him much as a face, but I kind of want him to play the fence like he's doing right now.
Well, and those guys are selling merch like crazy. I mean, the monthly top seller, pulling up shopaew.com.
Got to be that shirt.
Better Than You Bebe's #1, and #9's Double Clothesline shirt.
So you're saying they're making a couple bucks?
Yes, a couple bucks. Let's
see. And didn't
the
Double Clothesline just come out like this week?
2 weeks ago, I think.
2 weeks ago.
The Better Than You Bebe shirt is #3 top seller for the year. It's only been a shirt for about a month.
Good Lord.
The Better Than You Bebe was their first one.
Yep. That's #3.
It's top 3 of the year.
Of the year, you go Jay Briscoe tribute, which is awesome. That's still #1. Scissor Me Daddy Ass #2. Then Better Than You Bebe, followed by Punk. The Elite have a shirt. Bullet Club Gold and FTR. Bullet Club Gold's selling a lot of merch right now too, but Juice is loose, man.
Juice is a wild hog.
He's something. Majin says the way they've told it, MJF has learned to be a person again. He's not being his asshole self. He's learning. MJF has said people made him who he is.
Yeah.
He's spot on.
Mm-hmm. So Adam Cole leads him out, or leads him on, turns, and Max goes full devil.
All right.
A lot of devil worshippers in Tampa tonight.
Yeah. I wonder how much longer till somebody throws a temper tantrum about him saying that on national television.
Oh, somebody will. We then got the main event, the women's match. The lone women's match was the main event, which I can count on one hand, I think, the times women's matches main evented Dynamite. Toni Storm defending her AEW Women's World Championship against Akira Shida, AEW Original against an outsider. This match went a little long tonight, but that was fine. They told us they were going to stay with it as long as the 60-minute time limit if they needed to. A lot of back and forth here. The outsiders tried to help Toni as much as they could. They gave her spray paint at one point. They gave her a kendo stick at one point. But every time it looked like Shida was down and out, she kicked out. 2 or 3 different times. We thought she was done. She kicked out. And in the end, Tony Storm sprays paint Shida in the eyes and connects with Storm Zero, but Shida kicked out like I was mentioning. Shida then ended up reversing Storm with a high stack pinfall, getting the win. Confetti comes down. Shida is now a 2-time AEW Women's World Champion. 9th time that title has changed hands. Pretty cool way to end the 200th episode of Dynamite.
And I think it was Tony Schiavone made the comment of congratulating her and said she was the one that carried us through Daly's Place during the pandemic.
Right.
Never got to defend the championship in front of anyone.
Anyone, yeah. So I feel like once he made that comment, this was kind of a thank you to her.
Yep.
Tony wanted to take care of her, show her how much he respected her and appreciated her. So, like I said, at first I was not happy. Like this show is too good to just to have an outsiders come in and cost her the match, and the way they did the finish. And I'll tell you later my score. It boosted the points up pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, I love how Shivani, like you mentioned, said that she carried the title at Daly's Place era. Mox finally got a little title run last year with the fans, and now she is going to get one. And even though this is the other company, the WWE, I hope someday Drew McIntyre gets one too, because he deserves his moment. I mean, anybody who held a title during that period, the toughest period we'd ever seen in the world, not just the pro wrestling world, they deserve to have their moment in front of the fans. So very cool for Shida. I'm all for a AEW original Golden Gold.
Now Mox's thing was because of Punk.
Though, it was. Except remember, he did squash Punk and went into All Out last year as the champ, which was that whole thing was weird.
It was very, very weird.
But yep. So, any other thoughts on the match? Or are we ready to get into Wrestler of the Night and rating?
I'm ready for Wrestler and ratings.
All right. So let's go Wrestler of the Night first. Paul, lead us off.
All right. Well, this gentleman didn't wrestle, and I'm probably going to steal somebody's, but I'm going MJF. Another fire promo. We get those all the time. He's really pulling on everybody's strings, and that shoe's going to drop soon, and he's going to break everybody's heart. But I'm enjoying this run right now, and I always enjoy MJF on the microphone. So when he gets 5 minutes to just ramble on, I'm all for it.
Yeah, he's great.
And I'm going to say somebody that, and you guys have been here a lot longer than me, but I would bet $1 that neither one of you guys have ever made this guy Wrestler of the Night.
Don't do it.
Trent Beretta.
I've picked the best friends before.
Individually, though.
Oh, not individually.
I don't ever recall
Trent
getting picked.
I thought he looked amazing in that match, and whether you like the thumbtacks, the barbed wire, whether that's your cup of tea or not, I feel like Trent Beretta can perform in a match we saw tonight, or he can perform in a traditional professional wrestling match. So he adapted and he squeaked out a win. And I love that Tony Khan put him over tonight. I
did not see that coming.
I did not either. And so, yeah, definitely my Wrestler of the Night.
After those two picks, I was going to go to easy route, pick Shida, because that would be very easy to do. She's in the title of this podcast. She's one of the two graphics on the YouTube thumbnail tonight. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going with a group tonight. I'm going with the Elite. Big day for them. Announced the resigning for them in the company they built, established. They want to see it grow. They could have easily probably went to the WWE. They would have taken on a more tougher schedule for their personal life. They could have taken that on and see if they could have become, elevated themselves maybe like Cody did. But no, they wanted to stay in the company they built and see it out, and I respect that a lot. So I'm going with Kenny, Matt, Nick, and even Hangman Page.
Oh no,
tonight.
You Cutler too.
Yeah, Brandon Cutler.
You're a Cutler fan. You look like a Cutler
contract
fan.
Cutler.
I look like a Cutler. Majin asking, when are Proud and Powerful coming back? I want them to win those tag titles. They're long overdue for a run. Interesting you mentioned that because somebody mentioned that they believe Santana and Ortiz are on good terms again finally.
They are?
Yes. That was the latest report. So
I figure it would have taken, and this is all real, I figure it would have taken Eddie Kingston to sit those two boys down, slap the shit out of them, and said, look, get over your stuff. Because I know Eddie was really close with him, but Eddie's been over in Japan for the last a couple weeks in the G1.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and so Santana should be returning soon. I would think he's been out of action since last year's Blood and Guts when his knee blew out. So,
ACL, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
ACL, PCL, or PCM, or ABC.
It might have been all three of them.
Yeah, and I know at one point, at least on Twitter, he kind of teased a change in his character, like he was getting ready to come back, and then it just went dark again.
But I agree with Majin. I hope they come back together and come back in a strong fashion because I can't believe in the early stages of AEW, especially, they never got a run with gold. It's pretty hard to believe.
I would really like to see them two versus the Hardys. That'd be a classic.
That'd be fun.
Classic.
Good.
We never saw that in Impact, right?
No,
not
that I can recall.
Back in Impact, what were they called?
LAX.
LAX. Right. Yeah.
And they weren't the original LAX. That was Hernandez and Homicide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Conan was involved in that too, right?
And Conan might have set these two down. I don't like Conan now. I used to when I was a kid, big time. But he might have set these guys down.
He's opinionated.
Yes, and Diamante was in there too. Yes. So, all right. Rating. We'll have Shep go first. Rating,
like I said, I had a really high rating, and then that women's match started, and I was started going down. Then the last 2 minutes, it went back up. So I think this is a pretty high rating for me. For Dynamite 200, 8.3.
Oh,
wow! Shep's in the 8s.
I was thoroughly entertained tonight.
All right. So I'm guessing you want me to go now, Tanner?
Sure.
Tanner's reading tonight, so yes, you're next, Paul.
Okay. I don't know how we do this. The writers are still on strike. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Nobody's giving me any clues or anything. I'm probably the highest I have been since we started this podcast. I gave pretty high ratings when we first started because, honeymoon phase and all. Episode 200 delivered for me. I'm giving it an 8.9.
Oh, my. Wow. I'm low man on the total poll tonight, and I had nothing wrong with this episode. It's just this number was already in my head, and I didn't think Shep was going to go above me, but he did. 8.2 tonight. But
all right.
I had nothing really to complain about the match. I mean, I can't complain about the women's match tonight. That's usually my complaint.
Yeah.
Mine too.
Everything was pretty good. The one match I didn't really care for was the ROH tag title match. That was kind of filler for me, but
I look at that match, and all four guys in that match are super talented.
I agree with that.
I guess we go back to the Achilles heel of TK of no storytelling. Just throw four random guys in a match and say, "Oh, by the way, it's for the ROH tag titles."
It's a little Bischoff WCW there. Bischoff did that a lot because he had the talent to do it.
Yeah,
but and at the same time,
you hit rabbit hole because you brought up Bischoff. Did any of you guys watch Dark Side last night of Shit Stain?
No, I want to though. That's the one I've been waiting for all year. So
he's an asshole.
No, I'm getting caught up.
I'm not saying the F word so we don't get the E. That's a gang sign, right? Whatever. No, it's like this, Paul. Well, that's the elite. Like this is like gay. Anyways, back to my '90s rap days. I'm older than both of you guys. Yeah, great Dark Side of the Ring last night. and he shit stain is shit stain. Like one of the few things I agree with Jim Cornette is that dude is the scum of the earth. And if he says bro one more time, like I was in the same room with him, I would punch him. I would never. I haven't hit anybody in ever. Let's be honest. Look at me. I'm not a guy that's going to fight. But I think if I'm in a room with him and he says bro, I'm going to try to punch somebody for the first time in my life.
He is an annoying son of a bitch.
I do not like him.
I don't either.
He was a shit stain on professional wrestling in the 90s into the 2000s, and screw him. I caught myself right there.
I think I blocked him and Disco Inferno on Twitter, and I don't block a lot of people. I just didn't want to see their stuff. I didn't even mute them. I blocked them both.
Disco Inferno is an idiot.
Yeah, he is an idiot.
I mean, if you really...
Majin's complaint tonight was the slap nuts who are out there just shouting for the women's division to change, blah, 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 yet are the ones who are either looking at their phones or leaving during them. Yeah, one of the women from Tag Talk tweeted how there were tons of people who got up and went out during the women's match tonight too. Yeah, I thought the crowd seemed a little dead for that match until the very end.
Yeah.
And I kind of said that, like, at the first, I'm like, man, we have a great show, and we had this match, and it just didn't take off right away. But it ended perfectly for me.
The Broadcast Podcast from Australia. What's up, gentlemen? Hey, guys.
What's up, guys?
What's up, mates? Any Vegemite tonight, boys?
I knew that was coming. That's why I just knew the Vegemite or a beer comment was coming.
Hey, let's have some.
I was waiting on the beer comment.
Carlton Dry, let's go.
No Fosters. No Fosters here.
It's fake Australian beer.
I know.
It's fake.
I know. But no, good show tonight. Dynamite 200 was cool seeing the old colors. It was cool seeing the tunnels back. I don't know if they'll keep that stuff. I think it was just for tonight, probably.
Oh,
did anybody catch the Cody Vader was back too?
The what?
Cody Vader was back tonight?
Yes. There was a little square, and it only caught for just a second during somebody's entrance, and I don't even remember who. But yeah, there was the square. You could tell that it was different than the rest.
It's how the set was built. So. Because didn't Jade use that for a little bit after Cody left?
She used it a couple times, and that was about it.
Well, the WWE couldn't figure it out. So, because remember how bad that looked, that Raw after Mania when he came back. So now he just comes out and it explodes around him.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yeah.
Nope. So, well, we were talking Cody Rhodes, so that's pretty good time.
I think that's a clue to
move on to our next segment.
So, what do you guys want to talk about?
A documentary that came out on Monday.
Yes, Peacock released the American Nightmare Becoming Cody Rhodes documentary this past Monday, July 31st. Early previews were very well received. Early reviews were very well received of the documentary, and we all three watched it Monday. It was kind of funny how Paul had finished it. I was in the middle of watching it, and then Shep was just starting it. So we all kind of three had different timelines, but I think we all three really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I was running on 2 hours of sleep. I almost did not watch it Monday, and I went, you know what? I'm too big of a Cody mark. I'll admit it.
Yep.
I remember looking at that documentary and seeing him for the first time during Dusty's Hall of Fame induction. I never had watched the Hall of Fame induction ceremony until Dusty's. It's the first time I had ever watched it. I've watched several of them since then, but then I became a Cody fan. The way he delivered that promo. So, I mean, he hadn't even debuted in the company yet, and I was already a fan.
Yeah, you jumped on board earlier than I did. I remember him with Legacy with DiBiase and Orton, and I always saw the potential, and I liked his I'm blanking.
Ravishing?
the ravishing and the dashing Cody Rhodes, and
Dashing. That's
he
what I was
brought
looking for,
back the
ravishing.
classic Intercontinental belt. I loved when he did that, but then he completely
have that.
lost. I know you do. That's a great looking belt, and then he lost me with the Stardust thing, and he made the right move for himself in 2016 and getting the hell out of the company. And then I started, following some of his work on the dirt sheets. And then about the time All In 2018, that's when I really started getting invested in what Cody was doing and these guys that I kept hearing about named the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And I've said it many times on this podcast, they've saved my wrestling fandom because I was about done because I was so tired of the stale, predictable WWE product at the time. And then he came to AEW, and we could do a whole podcast on what what went wrong with that. But I think we can all agree he made the right move for himself. Being an AEW fan, I still wish he was All Elite instead of in WWE, but he made the right move for himself, and he gives me a reason to tune in on Monday nights a little bit every week, I guess now. But a lot of interesting comments were made, and AEW footage was shown, BTE footage was shown, which Matt and Nick Jackson and AEW approved, which is great for them. And Cody, and Cody will go on record. He won't say anything bad about Tony Khan or AEW, but it was interesting in this documentary. He did state there was a personal reason he left AEW. I think we'll eventually find out, but it's going to be years down the road.
Oh, yeah, because he even said, I can tell you why I left, but I'm not going to.
Majin says it was Kenny and Jericho that saved him. His wrestling fandom. Yep, those are good ones.
Yep. And, I'll be the first to admit, and we talk about this all the time, you guys follow the dirt sheets a lot. I don't. I still like to be surprised. I'll go get the spoilers and stuff for a Rampage, but for the most part, I kind of stay away from those. So finding out what Cody was doing on the independents led me to BTE very, very quickly because I was curious as what Cody was doing since he left, and type it in and BTE came up and I watched it. And so, yeah, I kind of followed along there instead of the dirt sheets. But yeah, it was an interesting run in the independents for Cody.
If I take my AEW hat off, but keep my Cody fan hat on, my Mark hat on, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
I can't be more happier for Cody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is, as much as I enjoy AEW and I enjoy the difference we get from them over Stanford, I don't think Cody could have ever got a pop in AEW than he did at WrestleMania last year. I'm sorry, 2 years ago when he debuted against Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
There were people crying because Cody was back. He would not have gotten that, and he didn't get that in AEW.
Yeah, and I guess we're going to see it here at the end of the month. We'll have a AEW show with 75,000+ people in it. So hopefully somebody gets that pop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because that place was shaking when that music hit the what was that? What's the
Kingdom by Downstate?
Yeah, but
wrestling has more than one royal family.
Royal family, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
When that hit, they immediately knew, which the dirt sheets already had it with Cody, but they immediately knew it was him, and they just popped. We have not seen that kind of pop in AEW yet. Okay. Because of the size of the stadiums, the size of the fans. I get it. Okay. We're building up to that. And hopefully we get that in Wembley. Hopefully somebody gets that pop. So, like I said, taking my AEW hat off, keeping my Cody hat on. And then going into this past WrestleMania with Roman and the way that match played out. I mean, everybody in that whole place was completely shocked, completely thrown.
Yeah,
that Cody didn't walk out, which gave him even more momentum. So,
and this is a Brandy note more than a Cody note on this one, but she kind of showed why her and some of his family don't always get along. Oh, well, he needed his mom and his sister there, but I was the only one who showed up. Well, no crap, because, he even said that in the documentary, this wasn't finalized till 2 weeks before. The wedding was already planned that they kind of had to attend to. So I understand them not being there. Cody seems to understand, but it's something Brandy doesn't want to let go of.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, Paul, because I have Brandy's Twitter over here on my left monitor, and she kind of interesting cryptic tweet yesterday she sent out August 1st. It says, "The truth always finds a way. Sometimes you just have to be patient, but it comes out." A lot of people think that's taking a shot at AEW, which she seems to do every couple months. She seems to still hold a lot of hostility towards AEW. I'm starting to wonder, was Cody's personal issue with AEW something involving Brandy?
Maybe they didn't have anything planned for her, and her contract probably expired before Cody's did, and so they couldn't get anything for her. And Cody said, "Look, she needs money too. I'm following her."
Her few matches in ROH, she had a few matches in AEW, and then she had some weird faction where girls were shaving her head and stuff. Whatever.
Nightmare Collective, that was awful.
Yeah.
Can't believe you remember that.
Because it was just that bad.
Yeah, it was odd.
Awesome Kong, and then that
some random girl out of
what was that girl?
Who showed up for like a month and then vanished.
I don't remember what her name was. Somebody in the comments help me out.
Anyways, I didn't care for it. Like, I'm trying to be nice here, but in her matches in ROH sucked. Okay, she was so green. So green.
And Majin says, "No offense, but why would they have planned stuff for Brandy? She was the drizzling shits." Which is why Tanner and I are over here laughing as you're talking, Chef, because both of us are reading this comment.
I know. I think, and again,
he's not wrong.
No.
Hey, and I don't want to sound like an asshole, but she was really good at the announcing thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
that was her shtick.
Yeah, she was really good at that. That was what she was good at, and yeah, so if that was the personal issue, that which would be really, really,
it would be weird, but
weird because I feel like Cody would be like, "Hey, look, like I don't know, I guess I've been married long enough. Like, if I come home and I'll be like, hey, honey, the lasagna is not your thing, man. Let's not do it again. like let's try something else. Let's let's go something on. Meatloaf, it's not good tonight. Let's try something else. Like, I feel like I could almost get away with it without being stabbed.
Almost.
You'd still probably get the couch.
Yeah, I mean, no, she'd be like, "There's a turkey sandwich in the damn fridge. Go help yourself." So I would think at some point in time with Cody's expertise, he's gonna like, "Look, hon, it's time to move on. Like, I'm gonna go on to WWE, and obviously they're not gonna offer you a contract, but it's what's best for us." I think that talk had to happen.
Yeah, he says it wasn't financial related, it wasn't creative related, but it's hard to, I don't know. I think it might have still been one of those. I personally think maybe Cody had a vision for AEW and TK's vision was going a different direction and they just couldn't see eye to eye. It's interesting to me. I think how Collision's formatted right now, it's kind of more of an old school show format, like more of a Georgia Southern wrestling format a little bit with CM Punk and FTR kind of pulling some strings there. If that was around, maybe that was more Cody's forte or maybe what he wanted Dynamite to be. But I don't know. It seems like neither he or Tony want to talk about it. They still want to have respectable relationships. So maybe eventually down the line we find out the real reason why he left. I think he made the right move for himself. as much of a Cody fan I am and an AEW fan I am, I think he made the right move for himself. I think we can all agree on that. And as much as we rip the WWE, they do a great job on documentaries like this. And this one, they hit out of the park.
Man, yeah. Absolutely. I like when Cody's talking about Dusty passing, he references a promo that Dusty cut. And he says, no matter how much I look, I can never find it. And then when they show him getting ready to go up for his debut at WrestleMania, they play the clip that Cody was talking about. I might have popped a little bit for that.
My fiance, I actually got her to watch this with me. And I mean, she's not a huge wrestling fan. She'll watch stuff now and then, but she knows I'm a big Cody Rhodes fan. And a chuckle. So we were actually talking about today. She came away with, I would say she's less of a Cody Rhodes fan after watching this documentary than she was. She thinks he's really full of himself. And the comment she didn't like was, and I told her he's a very confident guy, and especially in this segment, this statement he made, which she didn't like. She didn't like how he referred to himself as the best wrestler in the world. I said, well, he kind of has to think that. I said, I don't personally think he's the best wrestler in the world. I think he's very good, but I don't think he's the best. But it was just kind of interesting how, she came away with the documentary not as much of a Cody Rhodes fan as she was going in.
You got to think that though if you're Cody.
That's what I was saying.
You got to have that mindset. First of all, you're having a documentary done on you that's outside the network. You're doing it for Peacock, which I'm guessing is the largest streaming service in the world with NBC, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be right there. And the only other person to have this documentary done is freaking Ric Flair. So
pretty good company.
Sorry if you come in there, like I'm not like harping on your fiance here, Tanner. Okay.
No, that's fine. No, that's maybe
I am.
Go for it.
Sorry if you come in there with a little bit of a swag. Like, okay, Ric Flair was the first person to be picked, literally the greatest of all time, the GOAT, and then the next person they pick is me. I'm gonna have a little bit of a shit walk. Like, look at me.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, he kind of mentions it throughout the documentary. He was Dusty's kid for so long. It was, oh, that's Cody Rhodes. He's Dusty's son. To he's now, hey, that's Cody Rhodes. So, I mean, you got to, when that happens to you, you've got to have a little bit of that ego.
Yeah.
Now, I do love maybe the little bit of the cocky part of the Cody thing is when he wins his senior state championship wrestling and he hands him a piece of paper and says, you announce me as Cody Rhodes, not Cody Reynolds. Mm-hmm. And he gives the bow.
Yep.
Which to me reminds me of the Triple H bow.
Yes.
Now, he wanted to leave his amateur wrestling boots in there. But he said, I would have got a bunch of shit if I just threw those away. But that was just letting everybody know I was done. I'm not – obviously, the guy could have wrestled collegiately. He was a two-time state championship. I'm sure there's any collegiate program in the area, I don't know about Division I, that would have taken him. But he obviously had the chance to go to the next level. He said, it's not me.
Not for me. Yep.
Not for me. And then when he left college and to do the whole acting thing, there was one thing that stood out. When he enrolled in this, I think it was Howard Fine Academy, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the one thing that stood out to you that he did there?
Tapped into his past life to really.
He took the emotions class.
Yes.
Yes. I don't think it's called the emotions class, but
right. But
that's one of the first things he enrolled. Yeah, I enrolled in the basic thing, but I'm going to go to this emotion thing because he knew that professional wrestling and emotions tie in together. and I need that.
Mm-hmm.
And it paid off.
I was pretty fascinated with the whole Bruce Pritchard Vince McMahon story. They went down and met with Cody like that. I mean, and Kevin Owens mentions it. Vince McMahon doesn't go to everybody's house.
When Vince McMahon flew to your house.
Yeah.
That's a big a big effing deal.
Yeah, and it was cool. You know, Dave LaGreca was on of Busted Open on Sirius XM Radio. Does a great job.
Hold on. I love Dave LaGreca.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm a Busted Open fan. What the hell's up with that haircut?
Oh, I never know.
Like, come on, LaGreca. You're 50-some years old. Act like you're not 30.
I never know what LaGreca's doing with his hair, but it was interesting.
LaGreca rants. So.
Oh, they're great. They're phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. You know, they're going back to early 2022 last year when Cody was working without a contract. This and this. I remember following along on all the wrestling websites. I'm like, okay, they're gonna work it out. You know, they're gonna work it out. And then I remember it was my birthday last year, February 15th, when the news broke that he and Brandy were out of AEW, and that story overtook the return news of Stone Cold Steve Austin last year on the same day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just. I mean, like Paul was mentioning earlier, you know, Cody bet on himself when he left the WWE, got his star level that much higher to where he returned. Look where he is now. Doesn't have gold yet, but I think it's coming.
So, what do you think of? Speaking of Tanner's uncle, Triple H, since you know he's a Connecticut guy.
I was just gonna say, you know, Vince has done 2 trips like that. He flew out to Fort Wayne to sign Tanner.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know Tanner and his fiance are moving to Stamford, Connecticut next week, but whatever.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. Hopefully they got good internet out there for you, Tanner, so you can join us on the pod. But
he won't even be here next week. He's just gonna, you know, be dotting the line or dotting the I's, crossing the T's, making sure that's a multi-million-dollar contract.
Well, he's moving in that 6,000 square foot mansion in Stamford, Connecticut, you know. So good for him. God, where did I go? I started on this rant and then I got sidetracked.
Oh, you were talking about Vinny.
No, I was talking about trips. Like,
yeah, close enough.
So, you know, Cody made a comment that he still maybe talks to the Bucks more now than he did before. So he's still in good with the clique, right? Mm-hmm. And then Trips comes on and makes the comment and calls him a secondary company. And I know that pissed TK off, and he had a bunch of rebuttals. To his credit, that's correct. But this isn't the first time that Trips did that. If you remember the Hall of Fame with DX and Billy Gunn out there,
T-shirt company.
He called him a pissant company, yeah. So obviously Trips has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder or beef against them and refuses to recognize them as a contender.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember back in the day, prior to AEW, WWE could care less about TNA/Impact. And then all of a sudden, 2 years ago, we get Mickie James the TNA championship on a women's Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe that it had to do with AEW.
Yeah.
Because AEW was mixing with NWA at the time with the women's competitor. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing Cody had to sign off on most of this stuff. Like, he just lets Trips say that because it's Trips?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
He did smash his throne.
Yeah.
You can't tell me Hunter doesn't still hold out against him.
How is that not brought up in the documentary, though?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that's why Cody's not champ right now.
Well,
Tripp said, look, you smashed my throne, you don't get it this year.
I don't know.
long, awkward silence.
Yeah, well, I'm reading Majin's comments here.
Yeah, because Tanner stopped reading them out loud.
NXT at the time, when they went head to head, was looking at as a third brand, and NXT got demolished. Oh, congratulations, you beat our developmental. It's pretty much how they acted. So, and you know what I laugh is AEW is doing just fine for themselves, and they're not gonna beat WWE right now. WWE has such a head start, and WWE's in their own little boom period right now. I'll give them credit; they're selling out every town they go to. They're breaking merch records, this and that. But at one time, they were kicking WCW's butt too, and then WCW got hot and beat them 83 weeks in a row. Stuff can flip, and AEW is not even a 4-year-old company in its 4th year, and they're doing pretty damn good for themselves. They might not be neck and neck, but they're all an alternative, and that's what they set out to do. Give people another option to watch every week, and they're doing just that.
I would say at this point, AEW has put a dent in the bottom line of WWE.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Which if you're Vince,
God damn it, pal.
That's some good shit. You know, Vince has had to recognize that and see where that money's going.
Oh, I'm sure Vince has recognized it, but
Vince is not an idiot.
That's probably
kind of is.
Well, I mean,
in a way, but
we're not going to look at the other
business
stuff.
Wise.
Yeah. I've got a feeling that's probably what led to the sale of WWE. Is Vince went, look, I can't keep doing this. We got this young company coming up. They're doing, they're doing okay for themselves. They're still a pissant t-shirt company, but they're doing okay for themselves. We're losing some money, but not a whole lot. Let's go ahead and sell before we tank.
No, I think he just wanted to sell, then find somebody that would still let him hang around because nobody wants to work with them.
I disagree with you, Paul. I feel Vince had enough money to run this the next 20, 30 years on his own if he could stay that long. The reason Vince sold is because he removed himself from the board at the time. Great. I'm done. I had all these allegations against me, yada, yada, yada. I'm out.
Still has.
I sell to ABC and say, look, ABC, I'll sell you this for this amount of money. But guess what? You're going to reinstate me into this. And they're like, well, that's a hell of a deal. Done. So now Vince says, hey, look, I took myself out, but these guys reinstated me, so I work for them in a sense. I'm using air quotes there, right? And so that's the only reason Vince sold, is to get himself back in the door because his 77-year-old ass can't quit and won't quit. He'll die writing a script for Monday Night Raw. He really will.
Endeavor was the company that would take him on.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why he sold.
But any other thoughts on the American Nightmare Becoming Cody Rhodes documentary, or any other rabbit hole we just went down?
If you haven't seen it yet, go watch it.
Yeah, it was really good.
Great doc. I'm a huge documentary guy. I love watching those.
Me too.
I was really intrigued by the first probably 45 minutes of the doc of how they portrayed Dusty as involved with Cody. And I really wanted to hear the side of Dustin's.
Yes.
Because Dustin, and I think Cody's mom made a comment that Dustin and Cody are 10 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
So that means Cody's 37, Dustin's 47, let's say, roughly.
I think Dustin's in his 50s, so I think it's more than 10 years apart.
It was 10 years between the sets of children. So apparently,
okay.
Yeah, Dustin's 54, so yeah.
And Cody's 37, 38.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would really love to hear Dustin's in this doc. I really would. But they portrayed Dusty to be one hell of a father.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he was still on the road, they portrayed and one thing that I caught, the hospital picture of Dusty holding Cody when he's first born, Did anybody notice anything in that first picture?
Mm-mm.
The dude had freaking stitches over his eye from gigging the night before.
Of course he did.
You know that was.
Of course he did.
I mean, Dusty's in scrubs, right? In a scrub hat, and he's holding little baby Cody, and he's got freaking what do you call those little Band-Aid strips? The whatever.
Yeah.
Are they butterfly or something?
Butterfly strips instead of stitches. Strips. He's got them over his eye because obviously he got busted open the night before.
And I think Dusty's been on record before saying literally he got done wrestling a match, cleaned up, got on a plane, and just made it before Cody was delivered.
Yep. And I know Cody and Teal had a lot different upbringing than Dustin. And there's another sibling that never gets mentioned. There's another sister. I don't even remember her name. I don't think she has much to do with the family.
Well,
older.
They said her name in this doc, didn't they, early?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
Maybe one time.
But I know because Dustin and Dusty for a while didn't have a very good relationship.
Right. And Dustin went on record in the past before saying he was jealous of Cody because Dusty and Cody had such a relationship.
Yep.
And Dusty was gone through most of Dustin's childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of that, how would you and they had a good 10-minute segment on this. How do you look at the thing where you had Cody struggling on WWE television, and then you had Dusty having his kids on NXT, aka Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Charlotte Flair,
Seth Rollins,
Roman Reigns,
those guys were considered Dusty's kids because he wanted to make sure they were taken care of in the future. Yep. And yet you got Cody on national television just struggling his ass off.
Mm.
And Cody basically came out and said, like, that pissed me off. I had a lot of resentment there.
Yeah, he said those are his kids, but I'm his actual kid.
Yeah. And Sammy even made the reference. He goes, I think Cody didn't like the fact that we were Dusty's kids, but it was just the same. We weren't his
we didn't take it
kids.
that seriously. Yeah. It was really some emotional stuff there.
So another thing, looking through all that NXT footage we saw, there was a match between Roman and Seth versus Dustin and Cody for the Gold Dust and Cody for the tag titles, and going on and on. There's one guy we missed. Anybody notice who we missed?
Ambrose.
Not one footage of Ambrose in that whole doc.
Nope.
That was a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's arguably the face of AEW. Or has been since the inception of AEW, along with the Elite and Jericho. But, Yeah.
When we say Ambrose, we're talking about John Moxley.
Yes, for those that don't know. Lastly, on Cody, I think he goes over Brock Saturday. I'm still surprised they're not doing a stipulation, but I think I don't see how he doesn't go over.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say, because I thought this was really cool and nobody else probably caught this, but I did because I'm a fan. Dusty was wearing a Cleveland Browns shirt and one of the pictures with Cody.
I did see that. Poor guy.
Popped a little bit for that one. Poor guy. No, good team to support.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cleveland rocks.
Really, Paul?
Hey, it's better than Denver.
Nah.
Denver sucks. Not the team, just the city.
Nah.
The whole state.
Nah.
The whole freaking state of Colorado sucks.
Nah.
I'm surprised you didn't get secondhand contact buzz while you were there.
Oh, you know what? That's the thing. Like, I noticed. I was expecting that, okay, but I noticed if you're downtown Denver compared to up in the mountain towns,
completely different. Totally different.
Completely different. Yeah.
Downtown Denver's got some problems they need to figure out.
Not my cup of tea. And Screw that airport. That airport sucks.
I've luckily never really had any bad experiences with it, but I could see how.
It was.
Yeah, I could see how it could be a mess.
You know what? I tell you what. Well, we're gonna ask Tanner in 5 years. Okay, Paul. We're gonna keep this going in 5 years. Okay, just let you know. So in 5 years, Tanner's gonna have a 3 and a 2-year-old. Okay?
Oh my God.
Okay. And Tanner's
I'm thinking like a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
I mean,
still, oh my God.
I was pretty quick on my deal, so we're gonna give Canada the credit he's due here. So he's gonna have a 3 and a 2-year-old. He's gonna go out for one of his Broncos games, and he's gonna come back and he's gonna go, oh my God, I got the stroller, I got the car seats. I mean, there's 2,500 people in security. Like I just couldn't deal with it. You know, I'd take a tram to the next gate. It's like, yeah.
God damn it, Shep was right.
We told you this in 2023, Tanner.
Damn it,
dipshit.
And then he's gonna pull Uncle Vinny, and he's gonna be like, "Shep, that's it. You're fired."
Well, no, that's fine. As long as you say I told you so. You're right. I did.
We ran for a while tonight. Do you guys want to do a quiz or not?
No.
Yes.
Damn it, Shep.
All right. So I'll give you guys an option this week. Do you want to do a quiz I've picked out for you, or would you guys like to pick your own quizzes? Doesn't have to be the same quiz you guys take.
Nope. I say Tanner picks it.
All right.
Are we doing this one by one, or is this going to be a combined effort?
Paul's like, shit.
What do you guys want to do? I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to do a combined effort this week, or do you want to?
Let's do a combined effort. I think Paul and I's minds could really dominate any Tanner's quiz.
All right.
All right. If only he made these. He's not smart enough to make his own quiz.
I'm too lazy to make my own quiz.
I mean, he seemed to really like the tournament idea I sent him, but have you seen anything done with that yet? No.
Ooh, no, I do like the tournament thing, though.
You know, give me 2 weeks, Paul. I'll get on it, okay? Life's a little busy right now.
What do you got going on? Nothing.
Yeah, not much at all. Let me see if I can
playing in that first baby.
No, not yet. God,
hey, where's the honeymoon?
It's not in the country. Let's put it that way.
Well, mine was in Dominican, and so my first kid has a shirt that says "Made in the Dominican." Just to let you know.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so I zoomed in, so hopefully you guys can see this better when I share my screen this week. Hopefully this works.
WWE heavyweight champions.
WWE heavyweight champions. So there's 54 of them. You got 6 minutes from the year 2002 to 2013. So can you guys see that screen good enough? Or do you want me to zoom in at all?
I can see it.
I can see it.
See it? All right. So one by one. One guess, Paul. One guess, Austin.
All right, you go first, Paul.
Vice versa. And I'll type as fast as I can. So starting now.
Triple H.
Rock.
No.
What?
Jericho.
Benoit.
Yeah, that's one I just can't spell.
Rey Mysterio.
Guerrero.
Nope.
Edge.
Brock.
No. Shep is struggling.
Whoa.
This is World Heavyweight Championship. Big gold.
Big gold belt.
Big gold.
Big gold.
Big gold for WWE.
Yes, after WCW had their run with it. Okay, my go. Yeah, mm-hmm. I just drew a blank.
Booker T.
Yeah, there you go. That's who I was gonna say.
Keen Booker.
Or Keen Booker. There you go.
Yeah.
Mark Henry.
Good poll, Paul.
Holy shnikes.
I missed one on that. I got 53 out of 54 on this.
Of course you
Kane.
did.
Who'd you say, Paul?
Kane.
Taker.
Trying to help. Yeah, that's like
Wow.
Oh, Batista.
Angle. Oh. Go ahead.
I heard another one there.
What'd
Who
you
was
say?
the other one?
Batista.
There you go.
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah.
Orton.
Orton. Yeah, Orton.
Yep, been waiting for that one too.
Damn.
Cena?
Yep.
He was the last one. 13.
Man. This is a shot in the dark. Big Show?
Good pull.
Oh. The Miz?
Yeah, that's a good one. No?
WWE champ.
Remember.
Oh.
I couldn't remember if he had it or not.
Mick Foley.
No.
No.
Stone Cold?
Nope.
Nah.
You guys are missing somebody. You're going to kick yourselves.
JBL.
Michaels.
Who'd you say, Michaels?
Michaels.
Yep. Won Elimination Chamber.
Okay. No JBL, right?
No JBL.
Man. Jeff Hardy. Okay.
You can kind of start looking down the timeline and see who beat who, too.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of people.
Oh, Rob Van Dam.
WWE champ.
Man, we got a minute 48, Shep. Come on. We're slacking here.
Matt Hardy.
No, he was ECW champ.
Yeah.
All right. Test.
No.
No.
I'm trying to think of WCW guys who won it after it officially became.
Yeah. Sting?
No.
No. That's too late.
No. We got to get at least 13 more, Shep. Come on.
You got a minute.
Farouk?
No, I'm not typing that in. No.
I didn't think so, but it was worth a shot. I'm just throwing names out here now.
You got two of them at least that you're going to really kick yourself. At least two.
Did Flair win it as WWE?
No.
No.
Okay. So that eliminates Bret Hart.
Yes.
You
have three that you're going to kick yourself. At least three.
I got all of Evolution, so I'm not upset with myself.
Yeah.
You should be.
You got Randy Orton?
You got Orton already. What you're a big fan of one of these guys, Paul. Or were. I think you still are.
Oh man.
Christian.
Okay. Oh.
Was that the one, Tanner?
No, actually wasn't the one I was thinking of.
I tried The Miz.
You got Goldberg.
Oh, Punk.
You got Great Khali, CM Punk. That was the one I was referring to. Jack Swagger. That was the one I missed. Dolph Ziggler. Daniel Bryan, guys. Sheamus. Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah. Dolph Ziggler.
I thought I said Sheamus. Maybe I just thought it and then
No.
decided not to say it.
You
So
did.
you guys combined for 78%, which is above the average score of 75.
There you go. We're above average.
Yeah.
It's because, it's like freaking August 3rd here now. We're on a whole new day.
We are.
I'm just glad nobody knows what today is, so we're good.
It's 2023, and we haven't had this belt since 2013.
2013.
It's been a decade. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was won by mainly the same guys. So.
Okay. So next one, I think we should throw it out there. I mean, I don't want you to study on it, Paul, but I'm thinking like ECW champion or something like that.
I can do ECW. I'm all for
I know.
ECW.
Majin's been saying Intercontinental, which I've taken that one. It's pretty difficult. It's good though, but there's a lot.
Goes back to what, the 70s?
There's a lot of titles. Yeah.
Is it 60s or 70s?
I think it was 70s if I'm not mistaken, but I have taken that one already. It's fun. It's fun. So, yeah. Good stuff.
Are you game, Paul?
I'm game.
Okay, well, next week, obviously, Tanner's gone, right?
Right.
So next week is going to be the roast of Tanner.
It's all right.
We might cover Dynamite at some point. We'll eventually get to a Cody segment. It's going to be like a 3-hour podcast where 2.5 hours is just all roasting Tanner.
Hey, it's your show. You can do whatever you want next week. So,
don't tell us.
All right, maybe not whatever you want, but
I'm just going to say now, just be prepared. I'm going to go ahead and mark next week's episode as explicit.
Wouldn't expect anything different.
Was it because of you, Paul?
But it might be.
Okay, not me.
Hey, Shep, did you see my text earlier today? Dynamite was on episode 69 when KOP kicked off.
Yeah, it was.
Look, I'm 40 years old, guys. I'm trying to be mature at my age.
69.
Don't try to get the cheap pop out of me, okay?
69.
You know what I hope happens Saturday, just so I can hear Shep rant about it next Wednesday, and then on Thursday. I hope Brian Cage and Big Bill become tag champs.
I quit.
It's not going to happen.
I don't want to. Man, you know how long it's been since I've done a true podcast by myself. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, it's struggle bus.
You will do it by yourself, Paul, because I will throw so many F-bombs. It'll be explicit plus 74. And I went to 74 because 69 wasn't a good enough number.
But no,
go ahead. And
Sorry.
if Goldberg debuts next week on Dynamite to challenge somebody at All Out, there will not be a KOP podcast until
KOP retires. all you loyal listeners, we appreciate you. But if Goldberg shows up next week, we gone.
Anybody with the name Bill, I guess.
Frick Bill.
No, Shep. If he shows up next week and Tanner's prediction for Saturday is right, we'll come on here and we'll spend 2 hours just talking about how terrible Big Bill and Bill Goldberg are.
Oh, okay. Well,
and then we'll sign off. Join Tanner next week for another episode of KOP.
No, that'll be explicit, and that's fine. But yeah, I'll be over it.
No, I think FTR retains. I think we got FTR Bucks for the tag titles at All In. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
Not the trios match we want, but just 2-on-2. That's my prediction.
I'm all for it.
Well, no, All In, we're good there, but All Out, we get the trips match.
Hey, that's fine with me because I still would get a shirt and you'd have to do shots because the bet's for All In. So, just saying.
That new Cody shirt is pretty nice looking.
Tanner, did you polish that belt a little bit? It looks awful shiny.
Still light.
Oh.
Yeah, last time I got it back after he had it, I had to sanitize that thing. I don't know what he did, but it was filthy.
Well, never know.
Never mind.
Shawn Michaels it up, are you?
Yeah. I don't know. Tanner's neighbor's Shawn Michaels, so. I mean,
he just calls him up and he's like, "Hey, Uncle Hickenbottom, I want to redo your photo shoot, but I only have one belt. Think it'll work?"
Jesus.
Didn't know Tanner was a big photographer.
He's a fan of the selfie stick.
Oh, boy.
I'm so glad I'm taking next week off.
Yeah, Tanner will be out on assignment.
Yeah.
In Stanford.
Yeah. God damn it, pal.
Well, I mean, you said it too good, Bill. All right.
That guy might be in jail. We come next week. This time next week. I don't know. That guy, man.
Well,
all right. We've crossed the 2 hour mark, boys.
He's your uncle there, Tanner. So
he's rich.
You know what? Hey, if you know what, looking at it as a professional wrestling fan, and Paul, you could agree with me. If Vince McMahon was my uncle, it'd be pretty fucking cool.
That would be
there it is. 2 hours.
That would
2
be pretty
hours.
cool. That would be pretty cool.
I was just saying, it'd be pretty freaking cool.
It would be. It would be.
All right. He might be a creep piece of you know what, but it's my uncle.
Yeah, still pretty famous.
I can say Vince McMahon's my uncle. That'd be pretty.
Shane McMahon's your cousin. That's cool.
Dude, Shane and I think Shane and I could party.
I think you and Shane could have a good time.
I think Shane and I could have a great time.
We're going to have to do that sometime. We're going to have to list our Mount Rushmore of either current or former pro wrestlers we'd like to party with. That'd be pretty fun. That'd be fun.
We'll do it next week.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll send in my list ahead of time.
All right.
Send your list. I have a couple already.
Why
are you laughing, Paul?
You want to bring that up, Tanner? There's some comments that we're debating whether or not we bring it up, but I'm gonna wrap the show because we've been doing this for over 2 hours, and it's 12:30 here, which means it's August 3rd, and I'm not gonna mention what today is, so I'm gonna wrap this show before it gets brought up. All right, so be sure to check out kickingOutShop.com where you can get some cool KOP merchandise, support a great podcast while you do it. And be sure to listen to the Kicking Out podcast wherever it is you listen to your podcast. And if it happens to be Apple Podcast, well, leave us that 5-star review because we are 5-star KOP, which if you go look right now, that is true. I'm not lying. We are 5-star KOP. Be sure to follow the Kicking Out podcast on all social media at Kicking Out Pod. Be sure to follow your KOP predictions champion at TannerLee92. Follow Austin at TheShep27. Be sure to follow myself at Paul Zartman921. And with that, for Tanner Lee and Austin Shepard, I'm Paul Zartman. Join Shep and I again next week as we kick out yet another podcast.